Hello curl friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jody and it's great to have you join me today. I post curly hair content every Friday and then I post lifestyle content on Mondays. So I'd love to have you join for either one or both of those types of content. But let's get into the video, the reason why we're here today. I posted on my channel, I want to say back in mid to late February, what you guys would like to see as far as the new Camille Rose Guava Slip products. I had the gel, the hard hold gel, something like that, or the mousse, and I wanted to know what you guys wanted. And I appreciate all of you who voted, I really do. But the problem was it ended up in a tie, so it really didn't determine anything for me. I think at one point early on, it looked like the mousse was leading, and then the gel kind of caught up to it. And since last I checked, just before filming this, it was at a tie. So that means I guess I get to choose. And I do plan on reviewing both stylers for you, just one I'm going to do later, I think it more so in the summertime. So I chose to go in with the Camille Rose Guava Slip The Hold Up Setting Mousse. I actually have tried both of these products once and only once, so I have a little bit of an idea as to what they're going to give me, but still I'm kind of learning as I go still. You know what, before I get ahead of myself, I was getting ready to put this in already, but before I get ahead of myself, let's go into the specs of this product and then we'll begin the styling. This is the Camille Rose Guava Slip The Hold Up Setting Mousse. It retails for $16.99. This is a firm hold styling foam that defines curls and locks in shape. It's infused with natural humectants, guava fruit essence, and kakadu plum extract. It helps to resist humidity, enhance sheen, and improves manageability, leaves curls and coils and waves smooth, strong, and vibrant. The directions say to apply to wet or damp hair, squeeze mousse into the palm, and smooth evenly throughout the hair. Use fingers or a wide tooth comb to distribute from root to tip, ensuring every strand is coated. Style as desired. Alright, so even though I said it, I have gone in with this and the gel as well, both once. It's been a while. I don't want to say it's been a month, but it's been close to that. So I'm just going to go in with 2 pumps right now because, oh, she's sliding down my hands. This maintains a very watery, foamy-like consistency, but there is a little bit of a serum, so it has like a little bit of both worlds. I've said before, foams can usually either go 2 ways. A true foam usually is either like airy and bubbly, which this has. You can see the bubbles, you can see the airiness to it still, or it breaks down and becomes very serum-like, which this also has. It's very unique. Like, I've never felt a foam quite like this. But we're going to work this on one side of my hair, and you know what, I still have some extra, so I'm going to start this on the other side, because I think what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to get one more pump, and then what we're going to do, though, is what I started to say, is we're going to brush style this in, and then I think I'm going to add a little bit more at the end. I do think maybe I might need just a little bit more in this background area. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just do that when I put the extra in at the end. If you're curious, it does have a very nice guava scent, but to me it's a slight bit like on the fake side. Not bad. It doesn't smell unreasonable, but it just doesn't smell quite like a authentic fresh guava. At least that's my opinion. Alright, so I have already brush styled the back portion of my hair, and I just started in this right quadrant. I re-wet it and everything like that. And I will say that this mousse or this foam has decent slip to it. Now, I have recently done a review. I'm not sure if it's out yet, so I'm not going to name what it is. If I have done it, I'm going to link it up in the cards for you guys. But like I said, if it's not out, I'm not going to give any details about what specifically it is. Anyways, I'll just say the foam in that one just did not go through my hair very well. It was very hard to brush style, or it felt like there was a lot of drag in my hair. That's not the case for this one. So I just noticed that stark difference because like I just did that other review my last wash day. And yeah, I can appreciate the fact that this one definitely has more slip and glide to it. I do not feel a drag whatsoever. Actually, I had almost considered going in with my Demon brush. I had it out here originally, and then at the last minute I was like, no, let's just go in with the bounce curl, and I'm so glad I did. The reason why, I guess I should say, I understood what it meant by the fact that I wanted to go in with my Denman originally, because that one will give less pull than this Bounce Curl one. It just does have less drag in general. I thought if this is going to be anything like the other mousse, then I should probably use something that has less pull, less drag. But like I said, I've used this product before, didn't remember there being an issue, so I said, let's just go in with my favorite brush. So I'm going to kind of run my fingers through this, just kind of break up some larger curl clumps, and then we'll scrunch and see what this is giving us. I am actually going to re-wet my hair a little bit, I think, as I'm scrunching, just to try to, you know, help the curls form a little bit better. I do feel like this foam is kind of soaking up the water into my hair a lot. It's just, I feel like okay, what I'm trying to say is I wet my hair down, and then I put the product on, and then it just seems to be like sucking up the water. I don't necessarily feel like my hair is dry, but it's not quite the same as like a flash drying effect, but kind of in a sense. I just feel like I need a lot of water with this product. I would like to see these front sections stay curled a little bit better, hold their curl a little bit better after I scrunch, but my hair never does its best in this state. We'll see it when it's dry. But I am going to skip ahead of me brush styling these portions of my hair. You saw me do the one side, that's what I'm going to do to this side and the top. I'll come back when my hair is fully diffused. All right guys, let's look at these results from the Camille Rose Guava Slip Mousse. Let's take a closer look at each side, and of course the underside. Oh my goodness, you guys, can we get into these results? Can we appreciate them? Yes, I am loving my results. So let me show you the back. All right, so what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. But like I said, I am loving my results. I have big, juicy curl clumps kind of throughout. I've been kind of breaking up curl clumps here and there after diffusing my hair. Not that I mind the big, juicy curl clumps, I don't, but sometimes it just looks like too many clumps are clumped together. Does that make sense? But I think that tends to happen more in the back of my hair than anything. But anyways, so I love my curl clumps. I think that they look very good. There is minimal frizz. There is some frizz, but there's always going to be frizz with pretty much any hairstyle. So, but it's very minimal, and I can appreciate that even on the top where I tend to get more of my frizz and flyaways a little bit more easily, especially in the beginning. Very minimal frizz. Like I said, good definition on the top layers and on the underside. I do think my hair has a decent amount of volume. Like, it's not like loads, there's not a ton of volume, but for my hair, it's actually pretty good volume. I can appreciate this. Actually, looking in the viewfinder, it looks like more volume than what I'm seeing in the mirror here. But either way, I am happy with the volume that I have. My hair is soft, but there is like a hold to it, a structure to it that you can feel. And so I do think that this will hold up decently well for a foam at least. But obviously I'm going to show you into day 2 how it holds up. I have a nice healthy looking amount of shine. It doesn't look fake, it just looks natural. And I think that's all the things I want to cover. We're talking about frizz, definition, volume, shine. I think that's pretty good, right, for day 1. So let's check back on day 2, see how this is holding up, and we'll talk more about the product then. All right, curl friends, I am back with my day 2 hair using the Camille Rose Guava Slip, the Hold Up Setting Mousse. It's quite the title. I don't know why I have such a hard time trying to spit this out, but I really love this mousse, you guys. I really love this mousse. I told you I've used this before, and the first time I tried it out, I just did it where I went in on wet hair, and like I brush styled it in and everything like that, and that's all I did. This time I did that initially, like I put it in my hair on very soaking wet hair, brush styled it through, but then I also went in and micro plot my hair, so I took out a little bit more of the moisture and I went in with a little bit more product, and I think that made all the difference in the world. I mean, I enjoyed my hair the first time, but I liked it a lot better this time as far as the hold. I thought the hold really held up to its expectations, or is what I anticipated it to be. So let me give you actually a look at the sides here and the underside. You'll see that I have very little frizz that has developed, and the curl has stayed pretty good as far as like there's not too many wonky bits or anything like that, and everything. Yeah, this has just held up so well, and I can feel the hold in this product. Okay, I can feel the hold. Now that does make it so it's a little bit more difficult for me to flip my part, as I sometimes like to do, but it's not terrible because I have been flipping it, so that helps, but it just isn't quite as free flowing because of the hold. But that's okay. Like, I am not complaining. That's just me kind of letting you guys know what I've experienced. I do have this funky, like this one is just kind of like shaped weird. It's kind of going out just a little bit. That looks a little weird, but oh well. I do think maybe I've lost a little bit of the volume that I had yesterday, but overall it's still not bad. My hair is not flat. It does not feel weighed down or heavy or anything like that. It doesn't feel producty. I can feel a bit of the product in my hair, but not on a bad level, just like on a hold level is what I want to say, if that makes sense. I'm going to show you the back of my hair. But as I was saying, yeah, I can feel just a little bit of the product, almost like a little bit of grit of the product. I don't remember feeling that yesterday really, but I just feel it just ever so slightly a little bit, but it's more manifesting in hold than it feels like a disgusting feeling, if that makes sense. Like, my hair does not feel disgusting at all. My roots still feel good and everything like that. I can still move things around, but because of that structure, that texture, it just does make it a little bit harder for me to flip my part. Well, I guess I flipped it pretty easily, didn't I there? Like I said, I've been flipping my part, but if I were to like section different sections, that's where it gets a little bit more difficult. Areas where I haven't normally parted my hair, it's just a little bit more difficult because, yeah, there's a little bit more grit there. Another thing that I noticed is the moisture still feels really good. I'm wondering now, because the way my hair has held up so much different, I feel like from the first time I tried this out, I'm wondering now how this is going to hold up in the summertime. Because I had asked you guys which one you'd rather see of these two stylers, and the vote came out as a tie, I decided to do the mousse first because I thought, you know, this one has a better chance of holding up in some more mild temperature conditions than maybe the gel would. I thought the gel, I don't know, I always feel a little bit more confident about a gel in the summer heat and humidity than I do with just a mousse as a single styler. I guess it's just a personal experience for me, a personal preference, but I gotta say, this has me questioning how good it's gonna hold up in the summer, like a good type of questioning, like curious, like I think I want to try this in the summertime. We'll see if I get to it though, because as you guys know, I have a ton of products and I usually have a schedule of what I'm styling with and everything like that. It's usually planned out for a while in advance. And sometimes I just like to, you know, mix it up, try things that I want to try, new experiences and stuff like that, new experiments and everything. So we'll see if I get to it. I'm not making any promises at this point, but I definitely think it would have good potential in the summertime. Now, who do I think that this mousse would be best for? I think it could potentially work really well for anyone. Those of you with finer, lower density hair, just go in very sparingly. I would suggest though, if you like a softer hold, just go in with using this on very wet hair. If you like a firmer hold, like I have talked about today, do the method that I did. Go in on very wet hair. Mind you, go in with very little product and then microplop, get some of that extra moisture out, and then go in with just a little bit more mousse scrunched in on your more damp styled hair. Now, on those of you with more medium, more coarse hair, those of you with higher density hair, you can go in a little bit more liberally with this product. Those of you with drier hair too may need to also go in with a leave-in conditioner. That may affect also the hold of the mousse as well. So keep that in mind. I've never paired this mousse with another product like a moisturizer or anything like that because I do feel for me that the moisture is fine. I like this level of moisture. Is perfect for my hair, I feel like. And I would say, I'm just guessing, I've never had this tested, I would say for the most part my hair is medium porosity throughout. There are pockets of it that are lower porosity than others and pockets that are higher porosity, but in general I would say I have a medium porosity hair. But yeah, I think this mousse has great potential for anyone. but that's just my opinion. Like I said, I've only tested it on my head of hair. I'd love to know what you guys think of this video in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I will leave this product linked down below too if I didn't mention that earlier already. And until I see you again in the next video, have a wonderful day. Bye.